Salutations, everybody! It is Matty here today, and it is time. I am like breaking my microphone over this. Holy shit! Let's go! It's happening. Okay, we have a lot to discuss because if you have been under a rock or you're like me and you decided to catch some extra Z's this morning on the worst day imaginable, then you will not know that Starfield has received a brand new trailer, a release date, and we know when that developer direct is hitting. Now, some people are a little bit disappointed by this news given the timing of all of this, but I am very excited, unsurprisingly so, and you are probably wondering why. So I'm going to break all that down. We are going to have a trailer breakdown, fret not, doing a deep dive on everything offered, narratively speaking, gameplay-wise, in this brand new release date trailer. We know how Bethesda works. They like to tuck all their secrets in everywhere throughout the trailer, and I noticed a couple of things that I'm excited to bring to light, so we're working on that, but I want to, as always, give you all the raw, unfiltered, emotionally filled reaction from Matty because, well, I know that's what you all want. I love doing it too. So let's get started, ladies and gentlemen. If you are new here and you are ready to get on that Starfield hype train, just like with Fallout 4, baby, 6-month ride all the way to this time, September 6th. Consider subscribing. Love to have you here. With that, let's begin with just talking about the release date. Okay, it goes hand in hand with the Starfield Direct, so I guess we'll get into that as well. But during this trailer, hence the title release date announcement trailer, we got the release date for Starfield. It's coming out September 6th of this year. Now, a lot of folks saw that and went, oh, Xbox, you bunch of frauds. You did it again. So we heard that Starfield's 2022 release date was, quote, written in pen, according to Todd Howard, and then it gets delayed, and that was really disappointing. We learned about that heading into Xbox's E3 showcase for that year, which kind of felt like a pin in the excitement. Just, I can't get as excited. So the next time we saw Starfield, it would be that good feeling of, hopefully we'll know when we're getting it, and that date won't move. Now, when Xbox showed off Starfield at the E3 2022 showcase, they did say that whatever is shown there will be out within the next year. We're now learning that Forza Motorsport is likely going to miss that window, and we've seen now it's confirmed Starfield is missing that window. Is that worth being upset for? Look, I'm going to try to limit the amount of I told you so energy in this video because I don't want to come across like that type of content creator. But yeah, I've been saying this for a hot minute that if Starfield is to be delayed, I'm going to be totally supportive of it. I want my Bethesda game studios back. I want the kings of Western RPGs back. That's what I want. And I want it at all costs. So I want them to delay until they have what they believe is perfect. I want them to set a brand new standard for themselves and say, we are no longer Bugthesda, we are Bethesda. I want that type of slander, if you will, to be a thing of the past for them because I think they're so talented. They make some of the most interactive worlds, some of the best stories. I just love what they do, man. And I feel like they catch way too much slander, and it's to their own doing. So if they are trying to renew their cause and say, no, just like in the early 2000s where we dominated with games like Fallout 3, Oblivion, and Morrowind, they got to pull back and delay. Let it be so. I don't care about this arbitrary self-binding statement Xbox made, which was foolish, and we'll talk about that in a moment. I care about Bethesda Game Studios, one of my personal favorite game developers, and them succeeding. If they need till September to succeed, let it be September. If they need till November, let it be November. It's fine. 2023 is stacked. There are so many other games I'm excited for. Starfield being at the top of that list, no doubt. But I'm not trying to make excuses for them. That's just the energy I've had the entire time. That being said, I totally understand people's disappointment. I think it's totally fair when Xbox has made promises twice, Bethesda's made promises twice. Both times they're broken. Yeah, your frustration is justified. I'm not here to tell you you're wrong. I'm just here to say I'm maintaining that same energy. When I saw September, my thought process was good. They're actually taking this seriously. They're not trying to meet some type of marketing beat, some type of special window to have this game sell gangbusters. They are just releasing it when I believe personally it will be in its best condition. That is super encouraging. If you look back at what Jason Schreier reported, which was that Starfield was lining up to be that next Cyberpunk game, it apparently needed the delays. And we learned that, for example, with Cyberpunk, where when it came out, they said they needed about 2 more years. And lo and behold, the next gen update drops for Cyberpunk 2 years later, and it's the best best version of the game and it's playing exactly how it should have at launch. So if Bethesda's meeting that timetable, and based off Jason's prior reporting, it seemed to be accurate, then this is lining up to really, I'd say, ameliorate some of our concerns. So for me, yes, is the kind of, if you will, swapping of the Starfield developer direct date with the release date kind of something that I wasn't expecting? For sure. We'll talk about rumors and speculation that have been reported even by myself in a moment. But the developer direct being in June, to me, was the bigger surprise. I gotta say, putting that next to what I imagine will be a separate Bethesda Xbox showcase was a bit of a curveball. We already knew that there was going to be a separate Starfield Direct. Like, that much had been confirmed. Just, I thought it was going to be way sooner, especially if they were going to hit their June release date. This was the week, right? It was in this couple of week window in the beginning of March. And as I said, it's going to land on a Wednesday, and it did. So just keep that in mind for future stuff, that this is when Xbox, this is when Bethesda likes to do things Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Keep an eye out. Wednesday typically being their day. But I will say I was surprised how far down the line that direct is, especially if we're going to get another big showcase next to it, which Xbox has already promised. Keep in mind, though, this was another thing I've been saying for a while. I said, when we see Starfield again, I think there's just too much to show off, that they cannot have their own showcase as big as they want it to be, like that typical Todd Howard 30-minute showcase right in the middle of an Xbox showcase where they got dozens of games to show off. It just doesn't work. Pardon the Todd Howard pun there, but it doesn't. So you need something separate. That's where Developer Direct comes in. But to have it next to where that summer showcase is going to be, we're going to have a lot to talk about in the Xbox community, because E3 begins on June 13th. So I imagine Xbox will go the day before that, typically June 12th. And that will be very, very exciting for us as Xbox fans in general. We typically don't eat much, and this year we've been eating pretty steadily, and it looks like we're getting a full course meal come June. But yeah, I will say, if there was any curveball to all these announcements, the developer direct being that far down the line was a surprise to me personally. But I like that they're just giving Starfield its own time, and as I've also said, the time to market it. You know, as much as I believed in the June date, and that since we've known about Starfield for a while, that I could buy into the idea that someone presented me that, hey, we've already been hearing about Starfield really since Fallout 76. Like, hasn't it kind of been marketed on a mass level? Absolutely not. No, there have not been any televised commercials, which it definitely needs to reach the masses to have that kind of appeal. It has not done that yet. And it's not, as I've said before, Elder Scrolls or Fallout. So I felt it needed a bigger marketing window. I am also relieved to see this because I believe Xbox should build around Starfield at all costs. Why is that? Well, their main IP, Halo, is kind of going down the tubes right now. You're moving into the next generation with studios you have purchased. It's time to build your brand around them and really draw that association of Bethesda means Xbox. And you need to have the biggest Bethesda game, meaning Xbox. And while I say that with no disrespect to games like Redfall or whatever, or Indiana Jones for Machine Games, like all that stuff is exciting. We know Starfield is the zeitgeist, right? That's the one that's going to capture the industry and really start to create an identity for Xbox. Have that moment, kind of like Spider-Man brings for PlayStation, among many other excellent exclusives. Xbox needs that. So it's good to know that they're going to have a nice, typical Fallout 4 6-month window until release where they can just build their brand around it. I really hope they do so, because I think they need it. I think they kind of need a new pillar, a new face, and Starfield is certainly a beautiful candidate for that. Now, let's talk rumors and speculation. This goes hand in hand with the release date. This goes hand in hand with the developer direct. Like I had reported earlier, I said that there may have been a slight delay for Starfield into the summer. I believe, I didn't check before this, but I believe September 6th kind of still fits into that. But I also came out a week later and said, I'm also hearing that it may release in June. And then I said, because of that, I am pulling out, because my initial report was accurate. Like, go figure. My initial report was right on the money. It depends how you define slight delay. My guess was, based off the wording I had received, was July, maybe August. September, I think, is a little bit more than slight in the scheme of today's delays, where they're like, yeah, we're just delaying out of the year. And compared to, obviously, Starfield's previous delay, which was just, it's releasing sometime in 2023, there was that feeling of, okay, this is slight in comparison. So I understand now, seeing it all, where the wording came from, but now you understand why I pulled out of the rumor game, right? Because immediately after, I was hearing from reliable sources June. I was hearing from separate sources earlier than June. I was hearing from other sources beyond my usual consistent one later in the year. And I was like, there's just way too many bits of information right now that are all conflicting. But eventually the stars started to align a bit. Pardon the pun, I'm on a roll right now. We started to see someone like Jez Corden indicate that June may be a possibility on the Xbox 2 podcast. And I just corroborated, like, yeah, the last thing I heard was possibly June. But again, that the delay is always possible. And here we are now. So this just goes to show that based off, and this includes myself, even though I technically was right, I'm not going to pretend that I didn't follow up my reporting afterwards and say, like, hey, hold the phone, it actually might be June. I'm not really sure right now. This just goes to show that no one knew. No one knew. The only thing we knew is we can go back to Andy Robinson, and he did say we're getting a Starfield announcement soon, and we did get that. We did exactly get the developer direct announcement. Now, when I saw that, I thought it indicated, oh, we're going to get it in a week, and we're going to see the developer direct in March, and the game's going to release in June, and that's how my brain had drummed it up. Obviously, that wasn't the case, but Andy Robinson seems to be the one who actually was in the know. Me to a, I'd say, middling extent, but now I know that these bits of information can change super quick, so I'm glad I showed restraint and did not dive fully into the Starfield rumor game, because undoubtedly I would have got burned. And so I'm glad I had the wherewithal to not do that. But that's what's going on with Starfield right now. The game overall looks fantastic. I'll have much more to say in a deep dive on what we saw in that trailer, either later today. I have to record Defining Duke today, so we'll see about that, but either later today or tomorrow. So we will see how that all goes. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. And hey, thank you all so much for tweeting at me and sending me your messages about this Starfield announcement. I gotta say, just on a side note, one of the best feelings is waking up and seeing those messages, not because you already know, like, oh, something happened with Starfield, but you know, it's really easy in this line of work to think the internet hates you. It's easy to get in your own thoughts in your own head and be like, yeah, no one really likes me. And I never even grew up like that. I was typically friendly with almost everybody. So it's definitely a change for me at times when I have that mindset. But to wake up and see that and have people just be anticipating your reaction before anything has happened, they just know your taste so well. They know you're going to freak out about something. It's a really warm feeling. And I know it seems kind of out of place in a hype video, but just thank you. I really do appreciate it, and it lights up my day more than you can imagine. So I conclude on that lovely note, and I'm excited to hear from you. How do you feel about the September 6th release date? How do you feel about the June 11th developer direct? How do you feel about the new trailer and everything we saw? Please do fire away. I'm really looking forward to seeing your thoughts. Other than that, take excellent care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next video. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. And a big thank you to all the patrons, all the members who continue to support the hell out of the content here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.